Very good morning, my dear friends. Welcome back to Chandan Logic's English class. My name is Shyam. So in this session, we are going to spend some time on error detection, spotting errors based on banking level exams. Okay. So I'll be talking completely in English throughout the session. As you know, you're watching Chandan Logic's English YouTube channel where I'll be talking completely in English. Whereas every evening, I'll come on live on Chandan Logic's Telugu YouTube channel where I'll talk in Telugu. Okay. So Chandan Logics has offered you a free course. This free course has got many practice questions, 7,000 plus practice questions. I want you to practice them as many as possible. Students preparing for police exams can also get English classes at a very reasonable price. So now, my dear friends, you see something interesting on the board. That is spotting errors, but this spotting errors is designed in a very interesting way. So what you need to do is you need to understand the sentence. You read the sentence. There are 4 parts of the sentence A, B, C, D, and you need to find where the error is. Like, do you think the error is in A, B, or B, C, A, D, or C, D? So you need to find where the error is located. So usually spotting error is a section which is based on grammar, of course. 90% grammar based, maybe sometimes vocabulary based. My voice is audible, right? Everybody can hear my voice clearly, no? There is no problem with the voice, right? So you can start now, guys, as quickly as possible. Message your answer in the comment section. What is the error and where is the error? And my suggestion is, don't simply message ABCDs. Be specific about the error. Mention the error clearly. Mention the error clearly. Mention the error clearly. Who's going to give the first answer first? Fastest finger first. What is the error and where is the error? Who is going to give the first answer? Who is the fastest? And by the way, you need to read the sentences. You need to read the sentences. Because without reading the sentences, sometimes not easy to find error. You have to read the sentences as fast as possible. The committee appointed to investigate the allegations of financial irregularities have recommended that the accounts of all senior officials should be scrutinized independently. So you are talking about committee. There was a committee that was appointed for some work, and that committee announced a report. That committee released a report. So naturally you are talking about committee here, and if you are talking about committee, committee is singular, but you can't use have here. So here the problem is you can't use have here. You can't use have here. Committee is singular, so you have to use has. You have to use has. Because you're talking about committee. So part A has a problem. So naturally the other 2 options are removed. Now is it AB or AD? So you don't have to focus on C. Either B or D. Where is the error? Simple. Either B or D. Where is the error? Simple. Yes. My dear friends, if you look at the second option, because several transactions recorded during the previous financial year appears. You're talking here about transactions. Here you're talking about basically transactions. If you're talking about transactions, you can't use appears there. You have to use appear. Because transactions is plural, appears is singular. Committee is singular, have is plural. So the right answer is A and B. 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 Again I repeat, you're talking about committee, so committee is singular, so you can't use have. You're talking about transactions, which is plural, so you can't use appears. Fatafat. Any doubts? All clear, right? Do you think I need to explain this complete sentence? The sentence looks very big. I have no problem, but do you think I need to explain it? The committee appointed to investigate the allegations of financial irregularities has recommended that the accounts of all senior officials be scrutinized, particularly because several transactions recorded during the previous financial year appear to have been deliberately concealed from the auditors. Despite the fact that the department had repeatedly assured the public that every expenditure incurred under the scheme would be properly documented and no official found guilty of manipulating government records would be allowed to continue in office. So some financial fraud. What he is talking about is some financial fraud. He is talking about some financial fraud. Auditors have come, inspectors, officials have come. They have checked the documents and they found some loopholes. They found that some financial manipulations, money mismanagement took place. That's all. It's a simple thing. Can you try the second one? Can you try the second one? Who's going to give the answer first? Fastest answer first. Find the error. Find the error, find the error, find the error. Find the error. Nobody answer. Nobody answered yet. No answer yet. Can you be more specific, Vishnu? Like if you say BD, what exactly is the problem in BD? What is the error in B and what is the error in D? So that subject can be more clear. I think B is not a problem. B is a cakewalk. B is not a problem. B is a cakewalk. You're talking about several departments. So several departments is plural. So you can't use has. You have to use have. Easy question. You're talking about several departments, which is naturally plural. So you have to use have. Several departments have. That is fine. That is fine. So what is the other problem? What is the other problem? So B, I agree. There is a problem in B. What next? Where is the other error? So where is the other error? B is okay. I'm very clear about it. B. B has a serious error. Several departments, plural. So has cannot be used. Have. What is the other problem? Where is the other error? Where is the other error? B is okay. B is okay. B is clear. In the B part, has is wrong, have is fine. Okay, B is okay. What about the other options? What about the other options? What about the other options? No? No answer yet. Nobody has given the right answer yet. Nobody. You successfully found the error in the B part, but what about the other statements? I'll give you a clue. If you have to find the other error, that is based on your understanding of the sentences. So my suggestion is, you read the complete sentence, understand it, only then you can find the error. 30 seconds time. It is based on your understanding of the sentence. Nobody yet. I'll read the sentence for you. Although the new policy was introduced with the intention of reducing unnecessary expenditure, several departments have continued to spend substantial amounts on projects which neither contribute significantly to public welfare nor generate measurable income. So, prompting the financial ministry to consider whether stricter monetary mechanism should be introduced. So, basically, the whole exercise is talking about wasting money, dear. Unnecessary spending. Some government departments are unnecessarily spending money. So now the finance ministry is very serious about it. It decided to bring some stricter rules. Should be introduced before the next financial year begins. Here, when, my dear friends, when is wrong. Here you have to use since or as. When you read the sentence, you will understand. Since the government is expected to reassess its expenditure priorities in accordance with the recommendations submitted by the expert panel. So I'll give you one simple example for you to understand. Ramesh failed in the exam. Ramesh failed in the exam because he made many mistakes. Ramesh failed in the exam because he made many mistakes. So he decided to review his performance seriously since he has 2 more exams next month. I'll give you one more example. Sita lost this game because she made some mistakes. So she started thinking about her mistakes seriously since she has 1 more game next week. You need to understand it. That's the reason I always say you need to understand. You need to understand. You need to understand. Not every time spotting errors are easy without understanding the sentences. Sometimes you need to understand the sentences. Can I have good performance in question number 3? Guys, waiting for your answer. Guys, waiting for your answer. Guys, waiting for your answer. No? Faster. If you look at the second option, here the subject is convenience. The subject is convenience. Then how can we use have? We must use has. Subject is convenience. The convenience offered by the platforms has also encouraged many consumers. So convenience is a subject. Convenience is a subject. Convenience is a subject. There is one more problem. Especially when attractive discounts and limited period offers are repeatedly presented through personal advertisements designed to influence consumer behavior. So, attractive discounts, limited period offers, this is a subject. This is a subject, which is a plural subject. So, you can't use here makes. You have to use here make. Here you have to use has. This is purely based on subject-verb agreement. This concept is what we call subject-verb agreement. This concept is what we call subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement. That is possible only when you can read the sentences fast, understand the sentences. You don't have to understand the sentences 100% technically, but generally if you read the sentence completely, understand what he is talking about, then it's easy to find. Shyam sir, I'm happy that your answers are clear, but can you also explain the sentence? Not in detail, but briefly. Yes. The increasing dependence of young professionals on digital payment platforms has transformed the manner in which personal finance are managed. The convenience offered by platforms has also encouraged many consumers to make impulsive purchases without adequately considering their long-term financial consequences, especially when attractive discounts and limited period offers are repeatedly presented through personalized advertisements designed to influence consumer behavior, which make financial discipline more difficult for individuals who are already struggling to distinguish between their genuine needs and temporary desires. So this talks about digital payment system, online shopping, online purchases. So what happens is, I don't want a shirt, but some advertisement comes on Flipkart, notification that 10,000 rupees branded shirt now for only 1,000 rupees, only today. And you don't have to pay the money also today. You can pay the money later. You know, Amazon Pay Later? I think, do you know? Amazon Pay Later. You buy some products now, you will pay in after, you will pay in 1 month, 30 days. They are giving us credit with zero interest. So naturally what happens is we are buying the products. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the vulnerability of some people who are addicted to online shopping, because the digital payment process is so flexible that you're inclined towards online shopping even you don't need that product. That is amazing. And I think this Flipkart, what is that? Big festival, Amazon Mega Festival. So all those attractive, business strategies. Question number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4. Guys, waiting for your answer. Yes, my dear friends. Who's going to give the answer first? So this is about some incident. Somewhere some incident happened, and if the authorities had acted promptly, the damage could have been minimized. The authorities had taken some preventive measures. The loss could have been minimized. No answer. Yes, I think the easiest question here is second option, because if you see here, might have avoided, this is a problem. You have to use might have avoided. You can't say might have avoid. You have to say might have avoided. So that is a serious problem. So there is definitely error in the B. So you remove these two parts now. Now either BC or AB. You don't have to read the D part. Anybody? Is the error in A or C? Is the error in A or C? Yes, guys. The error is in the A part. Why? What is the error in the A part? Had the authorities acted promptly, when the first complaints, you don't have to use complaints there. First complaint. You don't have to use first complaints. We don't say first complaints, first movies, first songs. When we say first, usually we use singular. We don't say first boys, first boy. We don't say first movies, first movie. So naturally, first complaint, were received is wrong, was received. So 2 errors. Done? So had the authorities acted promptly, when the first complaint regarding the defective infrastructure was received, the subsequent collapse of several structures could have been prevented and hundreds of residents might have avoided unnecessary risks. Particularly in areas when construction standards were already known to be considerably lower than those prescribed by regulatory authorities whose repeated warnings were reportedly ignored by contractors who were more concerned with completing the projects within stipulated time. So, did you understand it, everybody? D option. What is the problem with D option? Whose repeated warnings were reportedly ignored by contractors who were more concerned with completing the projects within the stipulated time. No issue, Sharanya. There is no problem with the D option. I'll explain the meaning. Everybody listen carefully. Maybe some flyover, some bridge collapsed because quality was very bad. And you ask the engineer, he said, what could I do? I had to complete that construction in 6 months, which is not enough for us, so we didn't get time to focus on quality. So the meaning is the damage happened. So what is trying to say, if the authorities had been more focused and committed towards the quality, the damage could have been avoided. So, I'll repeat. In the first sentence, the problem is first complaints is not needed. First complaint. In the second sentence, might have plus V3. Might have avoided. Might have avoided. Guys, can you try the question number 5 now? Can you try the question number 5 now? Can you try the question number 5 now? Yes, guys. The report submitted by the independent commission contains several recommendations that, if implemented with sincerity, could significantly strengthen the mechanisms through which public institutions are held accountable. Although some observers believe that merely introducing additional regulations would do little to address the deeper cultural and institutional problems responsible for administrative inefficiency, particularly in organizations where senior officials have traditionally exercised considerable discretion without being subjected to adequate external scrutiny, thereby creating an environment in which procedural violations can remain unnoticed for years without attracting meaningful disciplinary action. Beautiful. See, if possible, after the live session is over, I want you to read the sentences once again. That improves your reading speed, reading skills. Anybody answer? One thing is for sure, the second part is a big problem here, no doubt. The second part has a very major error here. Observers believes. No, observers is plural, so you have to use believe, not believes. Observers believes is wrong. Observers believe. So that is for sure. Observers believe. That is for sure. What next? Now, do you think the error is in the A part or C part? A part or C part? Yes. The report submitted by the independent commission contains several recommendations that, if implemented with sincerity, could significantly strengthen the mechanisms. Guys, do you think the sentence A has any error? Guys, waiting for your answer. I'm waiting for your answer. I know it's very difficult. It's very difficult to find the error in the A part, but I have to say this. So there is a report submitted by independent commission. That report contains several recommendations. There are many recommendations that, if implemented with sincerity, so that could significantly strengthen. You don't have to use the word here, significantly. In this sentence, significantly does not have any relevance. In this sentence, significantly does not have any relevance, my dear friends. Because that is already a recommendation. That is already a suggestion given by the commission. So that is already a recommendation given by the commission. When we say recommendation is already something very strong. For example, I strongly recommend you to strongly work hard. Why? I strongly recommend you to significantly work hard. Why? Recommendation is already significant. You don't have to again use the word significantly here. I know this is difficult, but you should remember this point. This kind of expressions are called like superfluous expressions. So superfluous expressions means the expressions which are actually extra, not needed. Not needed. Chandan Logics offers you 02 Hero 2.0 batch and 6.0 Champions batch. And also SSC CGL students get the best guidance here. Take whatever courses are suitable for you. Question number 6 is not going to be that tough. I promise you. 6th question is an easy question. 6th question is an easy question. 6th question is an easy question. Sixth question is an easy question, I promise you. Can I have your answer fast? Yes, my dear friends. One thing is for sure. Second part has a serious problem. The problem is, here you are talking about the pace. Pace is a subject. Pace is speed. Pace means speed. So you can't use were. You have to use was. You have to use was. You have to use was. Now I am telling you guys, there is one problem in the fourth part. Can you identify anybody? What the error is in the fourth part? What the error is in the fourth part? While investors remained uncertain about whether the revised strategy would be sufficient to restore confidence among leaders and shareholders. Fourth part has a serious error. The problem with the fourth part is, what is the meaning of uncertain? Anybody tell me? What is the meaning of uncertain? Uncertain means It can happen, it cannot happen. It may happen, it may not happen. Uncertain means it could happen, it could not happen. So there is already uncertain means already the guarantee is not there. So uncertain means whether. Uncertain means whether. So when uncertain is there, you don't have to use whether. While investors remained uncertain about the revised strategy. So now what happens is, when uncertain comes, whether is not needed. If you use whether, you need to make some more changes in the sentence. So my suggestion is, rather than using the word uncertain, you can use some other word. Like for example, unclear. That is fine. But when you use the word uncertain, you again can't use the word whether. See, I'll give you one example. I am uncertain whether I will pass this exam or not. Wrong. I am uncertain whether. Why? Uncertain is whether. So rather than using uncertain, you better use unclear, or you also better use worried about. That is best. That is the best option. Investors remained worried about. Investors remained worried about. Investors remained worried about. Am I clear? But for the knowledge purpose, I'll also explain the sentence. Despite having received repeated warnings from financial analysts about the risks associated with excessive borrowing, the company continued expanding its operations at a pace that were far beyond what its existing revenue streams could comfortably support, eventually forcing the management to reconsider several ambitious projects that had initially been regarded as essential for maintaining its position in an increasingly competitive market. While investors remained uncertain about whether, investors remained worried about whether the revised strategy would be sufficient to restore confidence among leaders and shareholders. So what is the meaning of the sentence, dear? What is the meaning of the sentence, dear? Already many warnings were given by financial analysts. Many warnings were given about the risk with excessive borrowing. So this is the main problem. The main problem is excessive borrowing. We are taking too many loans. Excessive borrowing is the main problem. Okay, that is what he is talking about. No problem, dear. See, between is used only if there are two people, Ramesh and Suresh. But here there are already many people, no? There are many people, no? Lenders is already plural. Shareholders is already plural. So there you don't have to use between. Between is used only between two boys or two girls or two countries, Ramesh and Ganesh, India and America. Generally we use that, correct Sandhya? Generally we say I am uncertain if I will pass, which is actually wrong. Which is actually wrong. Because when you use uncertain, why again if? Uncertainty is equal to if or whether. Uncertainty means if or whether. If you already say uncertain, then what is the point of saying if or whether, right? So which is actually commonly used, but which is wrong. You can't use it. You can't say I am uncertain if I will pass. I am not sure if I will pass. Or I am worried if I will pass. I doubt if I will pass. You better say I doubt. I doubt if I will pass. But when we use the word uncertain, whether is not needed. Question number 7. Question number 7. I think out of the two options, one option is easy to find the error, whereas one option is not easy to find, correct? Yes, my dear friends, I'm waiting for your answer. I'm waiting for your answer. I know the sentences are big, but as a PO job aspirant, your speed matters, your sharpness, your acumen matters. What is acumen? Your agility matters. What is agility? Yes, my dear friends. I think second part is always easy, right? In almost every question, part B seems to be very supportive. Option B seems to be very cordial, very supportive. Governments that introduce. Governments that introduce. I think D part is also very simple now. D part is also very simple now. What is the D part talking about? Limited infrastructure, inadequate teaching materials, plural, 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 plural. Why do you want to use makes? You better use make. Easy question. This time, seventh question is really easy, right? Subject-verb agreement. Subject-verb agreement, very easy, right? Subject-verb agreement, very easy, right? Subject-verb agreement, very easy, right? Yes, guys? Subject-verb agreement, very easy, right? Can I have eighth question? We have last three questions. Oh, sorry, I forgot to explain this. I mean, at least in not detail, I will try to at least give you some. I'll try to give you some basic knowledge. The success of any large-scale educational reform depends not only availability of financial resources, but also on whether teachers are adequately trained. So this whole exercise talks about teachers. It talks about teachers. Okay, okay. Can you try the eighth question? The unprecedented growth of artificial intelligence has generated considerable debate over whether governments should introduce comprehensive regulations before the technology becomes too deeply integrated into essential sectors of the economy, with several experts arguing that excessive restriction at an early age may discourage innovation, and prevent businesses from taking advantage of opportunities that might otherwise have been available to them, while others maintains. Arey yaar, part C is a serious problem, correct? Part C is a serious problem, correct? So others maintains, no, others maintain, okay? Others maintains is wrong. Others maintain, correct? Why? Because others is already plural. So others is plural, so you can't use others maintains. That the absence of clear regulatory standards could expose consumers to serious risks that cannot be easily reversed once automated systems become widespread, especially in areas where decisions affecting employment, credit, healthcare and public service increasingly being delegated to algorithms. So part C, there is a simple error. Others maintains, wrong. We say others maintain. So can you tell me what is the problem in the fourth option? There is a problem in the fourth option, dear. There is a problem in the fourth option, dear. Who can tell me? Especially in areas where decisions affecting credit, healthcare are increasingly being delegated. What is the problem in the fourth option, dear? What is the problem in the fourth option, dear? What is the problem in the fourth option, dear? Fourth option has a serious problem. Yes. You don't have to use being here. You don't have to use being there. Present continuous is not needed here. As far as the meaning is concerned, you don't have to use present continuous here. You don't have to use being there. You can, because this is totally a fact. See, the problem is artificial intelligence is actually being comprehensively used, and there are some advantages, but there are some disadvantages. You're talking about a problem of excessive usage of artificial intelligence. It's a general fact you're talking about. You don't have to use being. You don't have to use being here. You can directly use simple present tense. You can directly use simple present tense. Last two questions in this session, because 10 questions means 10 fours are 40 sentences. It is not a joke. Can you try the ninth one? Can you try the ninth one? Can you try the ninth one? Guys, waiting for your answer. Had the bank established a more rigorous system for detecting suspicious transactions at an earlier stage, it could have prevented several fraudulent transfers from being completed and substantially reduced the losses suffered by its customers, many of whom were unaware that their confidential information had been compromised until they noticed unusually large amounts being withdrawn from their accounts, leaving them with little option but approaching the bank's customer service department for immediate assistance. Anybody answer? Very nice. D part has a serious problem. Very nice. Not exactly approaching is a problem, because after comma, leaving is there. Leaving is ing form. So here also ing should come, which is like parallelism. So approaching is not a problem. Approaching is not a problem. The problem is for immediate assistance. You have to say for the immediate assistance or for an immediate assistance. This is preferred, for the immediate assistance, because, do you understand the meaning of the sentence? Money is gone. So customers are running to the banks for justification. Where is my money? Where is my money? It is urgent, emergency. It is urgent, emergency. It is urgent, emergency. It is urgent, emergency. Okay. Right. Now there is one more problem. Where is one more problem? D has a serious error. So now either A or C. What is the problem in the C option? What is the problem in the C option? So customers, many of whom were unaware that their confidential information had been compromised. Means confidential information is gone until they noticed. See here. Confidential information had been compromised until they noticed unusually large amounts being withdrawn from their accounts. Lots of customers were shocked because suddenly large amounts from their accounts were withdrawn by somebody. Now they started running to the banks. So what is the problem in the C option? Many of whom. Here you can't say many of whom. Rather, you better say many of them who were. Many of them who were unaware of the fraud. You can't say many of whom. You better say many of them who were unaware. For example, there are 100 students who wrote the exam. Many of them who were not selected in the exam were upset. Last question in this session, my dear friends. I know this session may be slightly challenging, but this is PO level spotting errors, useful for not only prelims but also mains. Can you try the last question confidently, guys? The committee's decision to postpone the recruitment examination has generated widespread dissatisfaction among candidates who had spent several months preparing for the test, many of whom argues. Same problem here. And here there is a bigger problem. You say many is plural. So you can't say argues. You only have to say argue. Many of whom, and the bigger problem is argues cannot come. Argue should have announced the postponement sufficiently in advance so that they could have adjusted the preparation schedules. While officials maintain that the decision was unavoidable because several technical difficulties had emerged during the preliminary testing of the newly introduced examination pattern, which were expected to be resolved only after the technical team had completed a detailed assessment of the system. So there is a problem in the D option. See, technical difficulties had emerged. So first problems came, then solution must come. This is about tenses. In tenses there is a rule. First action should be in past perfect, had. Second action should be in past simple. Here problems came first, no, that is had, past perfect. But when you talk about the solutions, had is not needed. Here 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 had is not needed. One second. Here had is not needed. One second. So this is a big problem here. B is a big problem here. B is a big problem here. Many is plural, so you can't use argues. So when B is a problem, I think we don't have to worry about C. But technically, to tell you, grammar wise, tenses wise, here had is not needed because here had is used. So here had is not needed. But in the options anyway, D is not there. You don't have the combination BD. Either you have to go for A or C. But technically telling you, grammatically telling you, D cannot be used. I mean, had is wrong. But that's fine. We have nothing to do because only we have to go by the options. Now you have A, you have C. Correct? You have A, you have C. Look at the A option. The committee's decision to postpone the recruitment has generated widespread dissatisfaction among candidates. Who are those candidates? Those are the candidates who wrote the exam. So you have to say among the candidates who had taken the test, who had spent a lot of time. Da is important. Article da is important. I'll give you one simple example in this model. Simple example in this model. He is the doctor. He is doctor who helped me. Wrong. He is the doctor who helped me. She is student who got gold medal. Wrong. She is the student who got gold medal. Similarly, here you can't say candidates. You have to say the candidates, because among the candidates who had spent lot of time, their candidates is a specific. Today we have done 10 questions, 10 fours of 40 sentences in a time of 50-60 minutes is not a joke. We went actually very fast. In a span of 60 minutes around or 55 minutes around, doing 40 sentences, reading, understanding, analysis, explanation of the error is not a joke. But if you observe these 40 sentences, mostly the errors were based on subject-verb agreement and I think articles and also some prepositions, conjunctions and so on, tenses. I want you to watch this video once again, understand the concepts properly. I know this session is tough, but yes, sometimes we should practice tough questions as well. Okay guys, here is the end of the session. I'll see you in my next session. Please make some good running notes. Any doubts, you're welcome to ask me in my next session. Have a great day.